This is Radar for On the Radar Entertainment Blog, coming to another show, movie reviews and observations, number 74. Due to circumstances, only got four for you for this one. They're all movies from other libraries, but also they all were foreign films. So I was like, I don't know when I'll watch them. So I put it off, and I said I might as well watch them this week. And here's the interesting thing, though. Some of them were actually not in a foreign language. There was actually, dub thing, and so some of them were dubbed and some of them had subtitles. But I really like Secret Zoo because it was basically this guy who's trying to be a hotshot lawyer in this company. It's a Korean movie. Is told to go save this zoo that's financially distraught, and then he gets there and finds out that there is no animals. So he has to figure out what to do in 3 months to turn around the zoo. So he comes up with the idea, because this is the description on the box, and I'll give it to you, that if it takes months to get animals and there's barely any there, what do? Well, they hire some dude to make animal costumes, and the few employees, including himself, they're put on the costume and pretend to be animals from far away, and that's the premise of the movie. So the lengths this guy takes to put the zoo together and try to save it are pretty funny and interesting. There's funny gimmicks in there. He realizes he's not really a corporate, lawyer who's like, it costs money over everything. So overall, I really enjoyed it. I would suggest it was pretty funny. Then I watched the movie Satan's Slave. And this movie was an Indonesian movie, and it did have subtitles. And it was basically this woman dies, and then the grandmother dies, but the mother's haunting the house. Supposedly none of these children came from the God, it came from the devil. And these devil people are trying to take the kids away, and the father and the kids got to try to survive. So it was, I didn't really like it. It was shorter than Secret Zoo, but it was not a great horror film. It was a lot of talking and a lot of just weird sound effects in the dark. So Satan's Slaves, not really good. Then I watched the Kalani case. Basically, this defense attorney gets appointed a case that happens to be his girlfriend or his former girlfriend's grandfather, who we knew really well, is murdered, and the case is defending that dude who killed it. And it's a German movie, and it's got to do with the Holocaust, and supposedly it's an Italian man who killed this German man. Supposedly, not obviously in the past, because he has a family, and that family has a kid, and that girl dates this guy, supposedly, but in reality, he has to defend this dude who's an Italian man who killed a German, and he's trying to show how good of a lawyer he is because that's his job, but he also knew the guy personally, so he doesn't really know if he wants to defend the guy, so he's conflicted with that. And this one was definitely a movie where there was in German a lot of the movie, but some of it was in English. It was kind of a mix, so it wasn't that bad figuring out. But then they had to throw this whole other angle where this Italian man, when he was a kid, this German dude killed him, but if this Italian dude is old and this German is old, the math doesn't add up unless the German was a teenager when he killed him, because the Italian showed him when he was a little boy, and that the little boy's father was killed by this Italian guy, and for all the things the Germans did, it wasn't just killing Jews, gypsies, disabled people, black people. They were killing everybody, and they wrongfully killed people, but in reality, they got away with these war crimes, and this guy was like, you know what, I had it, I'm going to kill this man, even though it was all these years later, and it was all through this trouble. It was like, it was okay. It was an interesting enough movie, but it was kind of long, and, not the best. Then the next movie I watched was Ghost Killers vs. Bloody Mary, and this movie was definitely a horror film. There was a creepy Bloody Mary girl in the mirror that's haunting, possessing people, possessing a fetus, possessing a woman while she's having sex, possessing the principal, where this school's happening. They hire these ghost killers, and this movie is a Portuguese movie, so it had subtitles. And the whole point is these guys were hired to stop this killer, the security guard. Then all of a sudden, I don't know, where the woman who's part of Ghost Killer, she disappeared. The hot teacher that the two main dudes in this movie were flaunting over, she disappeared. So I'm just going to assume they passed away. And pretty much the whole movie is them trying to survive this thing. And the reality is you got one dude who's stupid, one dude's the leader. Then you got one dude whose uncle lets him use the property, and they're really weird and stuff. And the whole movie is them trying to survive this night with this ghost possessing different people or different items. As I said, fetus, woman having sex, and poop. It was really inappropriate, really disgusting, and sophomoric in humor. But it was an interesting enough movie. And the whole point of the movie is you defeat the ghost, and you survive, and the main characters survive. So overall, it hit on its marks there, but overall, I said it was kind of disgusting. Some really creepy-ish nightmare things where I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna remember that for a while. And it was in subtitle, and then it was subtitles. So pretty much, The Kalani Case and Secret Zoo were movies that had the least amount of subtitle, and they were the two that you can watch. I just thought Kalani Case was a little too long, a little boring. Saving Slaves was a little bit boring and not as horror and just weird. And the Ghost Killers vs Bloody Mary was an okay horror film, but just not, it's not that good. But yeah, The Secret Zoo was the best movie I watched out of these 4 films. Thank you for listening to another edition of Movie Reviews Observation number 74. For On the Radar Table Blog, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.